Guys, how's it going? So I'm going to go over now how to join say you've got two algebraic fractions and you're trying to add or subtract them, and how you make them into one fraction. So I'm going to go over quite a few different bunch of examples. And they're going to really be, I guess, about 3 or 4. Let's see how many different types there are. So first one, say you got an algebraic fraction, say like plus or minus a number, it really doesn't matter. So I'm going to go over how to do that kind of stuff. Then I'm going to do, say you got two, just bear with me, I can't really multitask. Yeah, so say you got two fractions like this, how you join it as one. Then you've got like a 2x, a certain amount of x plus a number over a fraction plus another one like that. Then there's this one, which I particularly want you to pay attention to, because this is where I would say 95% of people will make a mistake. Even if I show you these 3 ways, they'll still make a mistake. So I want to make sure that you guys get to a point where that's not the case for you. Alright? So this minus, when you're minusing fractions which have a certain amount of x and a number, and a certain amount of x and a number, messed up all the time. And reasonably common question. And finally, 3 or hard ones, which are like this. So this one's the hardest, in the sense that, can you see all of these? The algebra bit was really on the top. On these, it's on the bottom, and that makes it much tougher. But anyway, let's start with the first type. So I just made those examples up, but we'll use similar examples anyway. So the first one, let's have a look at this. Say you've got x over 2 plus 2. Now, you've got to remember, I want you to start seeing fractions as anything which has a top and bottom like this. It doesn't matter that it's got algebra at the top. It's still a fraction. That's what makes it an algebraic fraction. So remember, this is a fraction. Add a number. So if you've seen those fraction tips, I think it's number 1. Never deal with a fraction and a number. Turn the number into a fraction. There you go. Okay. So now listen, we've got 2 fractions, and we can try get the common denominator, which hopefully you can see. If I just times this fraction top and bottom by 2, then I'm going to get to this stage. So now, just like you would with any normal fraction, where you've got this bottoms the same, you just add the tops. So think about this. If you're doing this fraction, 5, this will literally become 3 plus 1 over 5, which is 4 over 5. So we add the tops together and leave the bottom the same, exactly the same here. So x plus 4 is obviously just x plus 4, and the same denominator, 2. So there you go, that's the one. So hopefully that makes sense for you. Now let's just do one with a negative, nothing really different. But, sure you guys want to see it. So 4x over 5 minus 5. Remember, fraction minus a number, we change that into a fraction. We times top and bottom by 5 for the second one to get a common denominator. So now we've got 4x minus 5 minus 25 over 5. Got that common denominator. So it's literally this, take away the 25. Just like we would with any fraction, we take the tops away and leave the bottom the same. So see, do you see how we joined it? We had those 2 fractions and now it's joined. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. You guys fancy a change of colour? Let's bring in some red. So alright, so this one is when you've got 2. You've got 2 different types. Sorry, 2 different algebraic fractions. Let's go for 7. So okay, now this is just a case of we've got 2 fractions. The algebraic fractions, but they're fractions. And the reason I keep referring to them as fractions is you guys know how to work with fractions. If I gave you something over 3 plus something else over 7, you would just be bothered about getting these denominators the same. So that's what we do here. So listen, times this by 7, times this by 3. Excellent, my battery's running out. Hopefully it makes it through this video. So, yeah, obviously we've got to times the tops and stuff as well. Hopefully that makes sense for you. So look, 2x times 7 is going to be 14x over 21. 5x times 3, 15x, 21. Now just add the tops together. So if you see that's 29x over 21. Know this. So there, look, exactly the same as normal fractions. We just make the bottoms the same. We get the denominators the same, and then we add the tops once the denominator is the same. It's once you know, a lot of people are scared of algebraic fractions. They look ugly. I've got a fraction with x's and y's, but they work exactly the same. So let's go for another one. 7x minus 2, take away x over 4. So we need a common denominator. Now, and this hopefully you guys can see just times top and bottom of just this one by 2. So again you get 14x over 4 minus x over 4. We've got the same denominator, so obviously this is going to be over 4. The top is just going to be 14x minus x. So here we go. 13x over 4. There you go. Okay, so there you go. Fraction minus fraction. Now we've turned it into just one fraction. And you'll see, once I start showing you how actual equations which you have to solve involving them, this trick will make it straightforward as hell. Alright, so now we're actually going a decent difficulty level up. Let's change to green. Fix this up. So, have a look at the situation. And this isn't that much more difficult, but you just need to see it. So imagine you have this. Now, exactly the same principle. You have a fraction over 2 and a fraction over 3. You've got to get the same denominator. And obviously the same, you're going to try put them over 6. Times this by 3. And here's the, notice this, times this by 3. And I'm going to tell you exactly which bit. Now, some people aren't sure how to times this top by 3. They think, oh, do I just times, the 1 by 3 and leave it as 2x plus 3? I mean, hopefully most of you guys don't think that, but if you do, it's a very common thing. No, you're timesing this whole thing by 3, the whole top by 3. So look, right now, your whole top is 2x plus 1. If you want to times that whole thing by 3, you have to put a bracket around it. So imagine that. That's another way of writing that is this. You're going to be doing like a single bracket multiplication. Yeah. So this becomes 2x plus 1 over 6 plus 3x minus 3 over 3. What am I talking about over 3 over 6? Clear some space. Now, you know what? You can either add these together now, so you can go to this point. And you can now expand this stuff out. So that'll be like 6x plus 3 plus 6x minus 6 all over 6. And clean this top up, which becomes 12x plus, what am I talking about, minus 3 over 6. So that's how you do it. Or you could have actually just done it here at this stage. So you could have decided, oh, I'm going to sort this out now. So that would mean 6x plus 3 over 6 plus 6x minus 6 over 6. Well, hopefully you see now if you join them, you're going to go straight to here anyway. So that's that one done. I'll give you another example. So, another example. Sometimes they might actually give you brackets on top already. And again, it shouldn't be really much more difficult. It should be reasonably straightforward enough. So sometimes I might give this. Now, again, look, the first, you can either, here's what you can multiply the tops out first. You don't have to, I can tell you what happens if you don't. What you're going to realize, there's loads of ways of doing this. There's no like, oh, you had to do this first, you had to do that. Look, as long as the maths is correct, that's all that matters. So all I've done here is I've decided to multiply. Just like, here's the thing, I've literally rewritten the top bit here and put it like that, and rewritten the top bit here, put it like that. So now anyway, I've got two fractions still with different denominators. I times the bottoms, so I get it over, both of them over 15. By the way, you could have done that as the first step, and I'll talk about that in a second over there. It would have been more or less the same. But yeah, so you've got to times this by 5, remember you've got to times this whole top, so you've got to put it in a bracket. You're going to make it like another 5, so you're going to bring in another bracket. And you've got to times this by 3. So this becomes 4x minus over 20 over 15 plus 3, 2x plus 4 over 15. Multiply the top out. So you've got 20x minus 100 on the first one over 15 plus 6x plus 12 over 15 here, and now nice and simple, just add them together. Hopefully you can see them, well, you know what, let me just do it. This might be tedious for some of you watching, but I'd rather you get it right and I give you slightly a little bit too much. Okay, running out of space, 20x plus 6x, I'm simplifying that top bit here, I'm rewriting the top bit here, using simplifying terms. So now it's 26x on top, and I believe we've got a minus 88 over 15. See? So that's done. Now, just to show you, yeah, you could have actually just started off by multiplying top and bottom by 5. So without multiplying out yet. Now, in a way, I actually think that might actually be better. This should have been times 3. That might actually be better, because let's have a look at this top here. So we've already got 4x minus 5, and now we're trying to times it by 5. So let's think about this. So this is already 4 times x minus 5 times 5. Let me reshuffle the order of that. So I'll do 4 times 5 times x minus 5. Obviously we're happy that that's 20. So then it just literally becomes this. So doing it this way probably might be actually better, depending on how you look at it, because you can jump to just dealing with one, you'll see you will only have to deal with one multiplying out for each one of them. Not that it's particularly hard, but anyway. Similarly, let's have a look at this. So you've got 2x plus 2. Oh God, do you reckon we're going to make it? Alright, that. Hopefully you guys can see, that's the same as that, so you just multiply these two things together. So that's going to become 6x plus 2 over 15. You know what? Let me get my power cord, because I'm going to be pretty annoyed. This runs out of battery in the middle. And we have power. And we have power. I wonder if that actually brightened up as well on the actual screen. But anyway, back to this. So look, this one, you could have then just, done 20, multiplied it at this stage. Then it's just a case of, hopefully, see, we just get to the exact same thing. So what I'm trying to get at, hopefully you're seeing this more and more, yeah? There's no one way you have to do it. As long as you understand what you're doing, how it works, then there's loads of ways you can go about this. So let's kind of rub all of this up. Alright, so now I want you guys to pay attention to this one for sure. Now, this is when a minus comes in the middle. Now this catches a lot of people out. So say you've got 5x minus 4 over 2, take away, let's say 2x plus 2 over 3. Now, okay, the first step's pretty obvious. We're going to times this one top and bottom by 3, this one top and bottom by 2, so we get common denominator at least. Yeah, so you know, we get to this stage. So then we can even, at this stage, we can multiply the tops out. Remember, of course, this won't be the only way. And here's the thing: if you want to go about, if you're going about this a different way, hopefully you're pausing these videos and actually giving it a go when I write these things up. But you know, and if you ever do that, and you've gone about it a different way, that doesn't mean you're wrong. As long as you get the same answer as me, it doesn't matter. Okay, this is the bit, so up to here you probably found it reasonably straightforward. Now, you've got to obviously, you've now got the common denominator the same. Pause the video for a second and actually take a guess at what you think the top's going to become. Maybe you get this right. Okay, hopefully you paused it. So, now here's the common mistake that's made. People will generally do this now. They'll do 15x minus 12 minus 4x plus 4 as on the top. Now that's wrong. Now let me explain why that's wrong. And it's wrong because this should be a minus. So if you got that as a minus, well done. Now let me fully explain why, because I can't stress this enough how many times this has got wrong. The reason you've got to understand is, let's first go back to like easier fractions. Say you're trying to do this. Now, it's whenever you did this, it was always obvious because you're just, you know, you're obviously doing 7 take away 2. But here's how it really is. You were doing all of the top take away all of the top. So if I did like, so the reason I'm saying this here is we're doing all of this, take away all of this. Now, this will become a lot clearer when I show you how it should have become then. So this, the top, should actually become like this almost. Now, if you've watched the video on expanding and simplifying, you should know how the top should simplify to. So for example, this in reality just has a 1 here. Let me change the color. Yeah, in reality there's a 1 here. And in reality there's a -1 here. So now you can literally rewrite this bit pretty easily. I mean, most people know that's just going to become 15x minus 12. But now look at this bit. Remember, there's a real plus, there's a plus here, so -1 times -1 times plus 4x is going to give you -4x. Yeah, as most of you do. But this one, be very careful, you still got to also multiply this by that. So you have a -1 times a +4, that gives you a -4. So that's where the mistake's constantly made. Constantly made. So I want you guys not to fall into that trap. And obviously this then kind of simplifies to 11x minus 16 over 6. So let's just do another example. And as soon as I write out the question, you know what? Go try it yourself, pause it, and then I'll talk through it. If you get the answer right, well done. If not, you know, I'm going to watch this video again. Well, yeah. Okay, so imagine you've got x plus 2 over 5 minus 3 minus 2x. Let's really mix this up a little bit. See if you get this. Alright, pause it, try this. Alright, good. Now, let's see what happens. So look, two fractions, different denominators. Let's first times this one top and bottom by 4, this one top and bottom by 5. So we get the common denominator. This changes the top. Now I'm going to do this quick. I'm not going to bother doing the bracket and stuff. Hopefully you guys are comfy. The top becomes 4x over 5. You've got minus 15 minus 10x over 5. This stage, remember, now when we join this, it's all of this, take away all of this. So that's going to become 4x plus 8. Let's put the bracket in just for the sake of it. Minus, so the reason I'm putting bracket, I'm saying all of this, minus brackets, the whole of it, 10x over 1. These, by the way, should have been over 20. Apologies. Yeah, and then multiplying this out. So the first bracket's fine, 4x plus 8. Yeah, remember we're doing the rewrite like this. Yeah. Some of you might have preferred to do a plus minus thing here and rewritten that. Doesn't really matter. So remember, minus 1 here. Minus 15. Minus 1 times minus 10x. I remember that was a plus 15 and that was a plus there as well. So that's plus 10x. All over 20. Simplify the tops up. And there you go. You've joined it. So be careful on that one. Now, this beast of a video finally coming to a close. The final type. Now this one is coming, and this is a straight A-star question. A strict A-star question. For you year 10ers, what would it be called? Grade, this one has to be grade, at least grade 8, if not grade 9. This is the top of the top. And you'll see, well, this trick is needed. So you're going to need to know how to make this. So you got 2x plus 1 plus 2 over, so it's x minus 3. So again, this one's far more interesting. This one's far more interesting. And now, let's actually start with a much easier one. So say I did 1x plus 3 over y. Now, we're still in the, but hopefully the way I explain it and we go through it should make sense to you. Because you're not thinking of rules, you're thinking about how this works. So let's think about this. We've still got two fractions adding together. When we're adding any two fractions together, what's the first thing we need? Hopefully, you said a common denominator. So now, the reason this is like an A-star question is people are like, because it's not numbers, it catches them out. They're like, you know, oh, I don't know, what's the common denominator for x and y? Here's what you do every single time, more or less. Yeah, that's a terrible way to put it. I'll explain when it isn't. Just multiply this by that. Okay, so imagine multiplying top and bottom by y from this one. And imagine multiplying this by the x. Can you already see by almost like multiplying this fraction by that denominator, that fraction by this denominator, you get x, this is going to have x times y on the bottom here, this is going to have y times x, that's the same. So let's have a look what this becomes. This becomes y over xy, and this one's going to become 3x over yx, which is exactly the same as xy. So now this one ends up just becoming, look, y plus 3x over xy. That's all there is to it. It's not that much harder, but it will get you so much more marks. I think if you get an algebra question in this form, it's going to be 6 marks. It's huge, and that's going to be in the non-calculator as well. So that's almost 10% of your paper. But yeah, let's go into this. So now this one's harder though. This one's even harder. Because at least before we just had like x on the bottom, x and y. This one has 2x plus 1. This one x minus 3. Again, don't be scared by this. We literally, so by the way, remember we're going to be multiplying the whole of the bottoms. I'm going to multiply this by x minus 3. Yeah, and the whole of x minus 3. I'm going to be multiplying this by 2x plus 1. Okay, and that's all there is to it. So this top, 1 times x minus 3, hopefully I don't even have to bother running you through that. And the bottom, by the way, just leave like this for the time being. And you can multiply it out later, but whatever. Now this one is going to be 2x plus 1. That one is going to have the exact same bottom. And hopefully you guys can see here that that's going to become 4x plus 2. Now this equals, let's have a look at this. So that's going to be, you just add them together by the way. So you're going to get 5x minus 1 over 2x plus 1 x minus 3. Now, the reason I said don't multiply these things out, because can you imagine if for some reason when we added these things up, you got something like this. Well, the reason, that's what a lot of these questions involve sometimes. If you got this, can you see this top here? You can almost write as this times 1. So I've just rewritten the top as a chain of things multiplying. And look, I have a common factor. By the way, this is a chain of things multiplying like that. And I can cross this out. So that would cancel to 1 over x minus 3. Yeah, do you see that? On the flip side, you might have also got to the position where you get to here. You would have got to 4x plus 2. Look out for that. Yeah? You've got to keep a keen eye for that, because this top can factorize to this. So look, the top and bottom are now a chain of things multiplying. So sometimes you might have to factorize. Don't get scared of this. You might be like, oh my god, but I would never spot that. You watch. The question will kind of guide you through it. And don't worry, I'll be covering all of this. I'll be showing you how to spot all of this. I'm just giving you, telling you in advance. So now the reason for I said don't multiply these out, because some of you I'm sure would have been like, alright, now I multiply this out, I make this 2x squared minus 6x plus x minus 3, which becomes 2x squared. That should have been squared, I don't know why I put that there. Minus 5x minus 3. So if you had multiplied these things out here, and say you got to this stage, you would have had your fraction look as 4x plus 2 over 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. And there's no way that you would have seen that you were able to rewrite the top and bottom as a chain of things multiplying and cancel one thing out. Alright? So quite a tough video, guys. Quite a tough video. Lots and lots of stuff in here. But hopefully it all made sense. Hope you can all follow this through. And of course, listen, if you can't, that's why I'm here. Come to me. Yeah, tell me you can't, and I'll make sure you can. So alright, we'll end this video, and then I'm going to show you how to solve equations using these algebraic fractions, and that's going to be the last video for algebraic fractions, and then we'll move on to quadratics. Sounds fun, doesn't it? Alright, see you in the next video.